spinning. Got one job, just be a little different. Isn't hard to change the way for you. Don't you be to me to any others. Everyone's got their
Are we ready?
Yep.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Is it working?
Yep.
I was born in Lima, Peru. My mom gave birth to moi in 1980. And in the late 80s, in 87, I believe, we moved to New York City to live the American dream. You know, I didn't speak any English. I went to a private school in one of the best schools in Manhattan, and I did not understand how to say please and thank you. I was an immigrant. I was a little girl, not understanding my environment, you know, and yeah. As a young girl, I dreamed of becoming a vet. You know, caring for animals and taking care of them was something that I've always wanted to do, and I ended up completely doing something else. So that didn't go as planned. But at the age of 17, I got pregnant, and I was in high school. Told my mom, scared, feared her. You know, my mom was a very militant woman, very strict, and I had to write her a letter. I wrote her a letter, you know, and I remember giving it to her, and she said, "Don't tell me you're pregnant." And I said, "No, Mom, I'm not pregnant." Still afraid of what she was going to do. And as I was in the car watching her read that letter, I was so scared. And she just started crying, and she was like, "How can you do this? You're going to ruin your whole life." And I know she meant well, but she was so scared of what's going to happen to me at the age of, you know, 17. And I said, "Mom, you know, I've been with my high school sweetheart for 2-3 years, and it was something that happened. I didn't plan to get pregnant at 17, but what do I do? What are my choices?" So I was scared for my life, and I was afraid. I didn't know. I was lost. I was confused. I was a child. And I said, "You know what, Mom? I have to do this. You know, I have to do this." And ever since I held Raquel in my arms, everything changed. You know, my life changed. My decisions changed. What I wanted in life was completely different, and I say to this day that I still have not enjoyed, you know, my adulthood, to be honest. You know, I've had my daughter at 17, my son at 19, and then I knew that being a young mom was gonna come with a lot of turmoil. You know, I knew that I was gonna get judged and, you know, persecuted or being looked upon as, oh, you know, there goes this teen mom in high school, and that didn't stop me. That didn't stop me from my goal and my dream of raising my daughter in an environment where she's happy and healthy, and I can provide and I can support her, like just like my mom did, you know. So seeing my mom work multiple jobs, you know, sometimes cleaning houses or becoming a driver, or everything that she did, you know, to try to provide and everything that she did to try to provide and take care of us, I saw at a very young age, and I saw the hard work that it took, and I said, I can do this. You know, if my mom did it, you know, I know I'm young, but I have the ambition to move forward in life, and that's exactly what I did. And yeah.
So I was born and raised in New York City, 1972. My mother came at the age of 16 from Dominican Republic, and 3 boys. I'm the middle child, and grew up in a neighborhood, Harlem, where it was tough. It's a rough neighborhood, not many role models to look up to, and kind of had to fend for yourself. My mom was single, so when she went to work, we kind of had to take care of ourselves for the most part. And went to school. There was a lot of bullying, as you can imagine. And in my neighborhood, you know, you live on one block, stay away from the other block, right? You find yourself in the other block, you know, you could have some problems. Anyway, growing up, my mom wanted me to be either a doctor, lawyer, right? The normal story. But one thing that I did notice was that in my neighborhood, the funny thing was that, you had all sorts of people where, people even that had graduated from college were living in my neighborhood. I didn't see too many people make it out of there. I was even thinking about joining the military at one point as a way to escape. And that didn't work out as well. Saw a movie called Born on the 4th of July that kind of just changed my mind right away. But, I was good with numbers, so I got into banking and worked for a bank that was right in Rockefeller Plaza, with the big tree, the ice skating ring. My bank was right across the street, so that's where I worked.
This was summer of 2005. My best friend invited me to Vegas, and I said, all right, let's go. Who's going? Oh, it's just couples, and there may be a few guys that are going. And I'm like, ugh, the time I was over the whole dating and meeting people. I wasn't ready for it, but I said, you know what, let's go. And that's how I met Vince. And when I met Vince, I felt as if this was too good to be true. There's this guy that was charismatic. He was funny. He was gentle. He made me feel special. And I said, this is just a cover. Like, where's the catch? Where's the catch with this guy? And months went by, and I really fell in love with this man that was so genuine and so good-hearted that I decided to have sex with him.
So how did I meet Rocio? I just started working for a major mortgage lender, and I'm learning systems and how to work it and trying to structure deals, and a colleague of mine offered to help. I'm sitting at her desk, and as we're working the file, in comes her best friend. And her best friend just jumped right into the conversation. She started helping. She started structuring the deal. She didn't work at the office, but she was in the industry. And I can't tell you what I was most impressed with. Was it her beauty or how good she was at structuring deals, how quick she was? I don't know, but she was definitely not someone very easily to forget. So she definitely stayed on my mind from that point on. And then the Vegas trip. The Vegas trip is probably, what Rocio remembers. And she probably doesn't remember that first encounter. But, the office is talking about a few months had gone by. The office starts talking about, hey, are you coming to this Vegas trip? You got to go to this Vegas trip. And, I'm single, and I'm noticing that it was only couples that were going to this trip. So I was like, no way, I'm not going to this trip. I mean, I'm not going to be this 9th, 11th wheel here. It's not going to happen. And then Rocio's friend comes up to me and says, hey, you're not going to be the only one there that's single. Remember my best friend? She's going to be there. And I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And as I turn, Expedia.com, book that flight. So here we are. We're headed to Vegas, and funny thing is that we didn't get it. Everyone keeps asking us that, how is it that you guys go to Vegas and you really didn't connect until the way back? And the truth is that, the night we get there, great. All of us are jumping the limo. I get to start talking to her. And we're supposed to meet for breakfast the very next day. And the very next day at breakfast, sure enough, all the couples are there, and Rocio is there with someone else. She had, unknown to me, she had plans to meet a friend of hers in Vegas. So I ended up being this 9th, 11th wheel.
On our way back to Vegas, we took a red-eye flight back, and I was tired. And, Vince seemed cool, and we organically exchanged some conversations. So I said, what, come sit next to me. And I ended up falling asleep in his shoulder, and I felt really comfortable with this man, and the rest is history. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to get to know him a little bit more, to get serious with him, because he was Dominican. My mom warned me about the Dominicans in born and raised in Manhattan, that they were no good for me and it was trouble. So at the age of 24, I was still intimidated by that. And here comes this guy that, he's just handsome, and he was short. He was a little bit short, so I was like, I don't know, me with high heels and him a little shorter, how is this gonna work out? But his charisma, his heart, his humor, his hands and his eyes, I was like, oh my God, no, this is it. And 17 years later, I'm here.